Okay, hodl,
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 hodl.
hodl. Save, save, save. Builder, builder, builder.
Sound money, sound money.
All right.
How's it going, guys?
Well, we got a special guest today, but I'm not even going to introduce him yet. He said he won't dance, so we
couldn't have him on.
Kicked him out of this part. But and then we got a member that keeps coming on. That's great. So, guys, we got. I want to outline the conference because that's what's coming up. Dave is going to be one of our featured speakers. He's going to help me get some more. We need some more Mexican speakers and Spanish-speaking
Definitely
speakers.
cannot hurt.
I need at least 2 or 3 more. He's going to help me with that because my Spanglish is even bad. So, all right. So number one is the website. There it is, guys. It's a Bitcoin Standard Conference. It is not open to the public yet. The only way you can get a ticket is you have to have a referral code from either a member, an existing member or speaker.
Correct.
And then, of course, the date and the time is August 12th to the 15th. But the first 2 days, the 11th and 12th, we have workshops. And you want to scroll down for that? We got the workshop, which is, we got programming blockchain by Jimmy Song. And that's, you got to be qualified for that.
Right. You can apply
you pass
directly
a test
on the
actually.
website.
You need to know Python or you can't come. And then we've got Running Bitcoin. And that's a 2-day. I think the program in Bitcoin is like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, 3 or 4 depending on
and then,
when you buy.
Then Running Bitcoin, that's $1,000, and it's how you set up a full node and a Lightning network and all this stuff. I really want to go to that one. I actually bought 4 scholarships, and you guys want 2 of them, but I don't know if I'm going to let you go. I think you have to go another time because that's conference time, man. So I definitely, members, guys, if you're coming, I got 2 available. If you're coming to the conference, you want to come an extra day. Everything's included with this conference. We go down, if you get the big ticket, there's a carnivory dinner, okay? And the conference is $9.95. That's for 2 days. Then we have what's called the adventure tour, where we're going to go on our off-road on our adventure. These are not ATVs. These are full-size razors, and we do that on Saturday. That'll be an all-day Saturday thing, and that's at the Horsepower Ranch. So that's Saturday, and then Sunday everybody can check out, and that's $9.95 too. But you get the whole package. You get the conference, the adventure tour, and the carnivory dinner for $19.95. But
There we are.
if you use a referral code from one of the members, you get 15% off, so that knocks it down. Right now, we have a very limited capacity. We hope it opens up. We're hoping, but we're expecting we'll be sold out shortly. We're just kind of opening this up slowly, 1 speaker at a time. Once it's sold out, if we can hopefully open it up, the price will go up to $24.95 for the whole package and $250 on the conference.
Right. You want to mention?
It's going to be the event. We want it to be the event of the year. Oh, another thing that's included that we haven't mentioned yet. If you fly into Tijuana, we have limousine service. We will pick you up at the airport,
shuttle service,
bring you down here, and the same thing, when you go back. So we got the goat lady just brought me a new Escalade, so that'll be part of it.
Part of the VIP
Bronco,
package, right?
You got to be. I don't know. We have some beat up Mexican car for just.
We've got the Mexican limos.
Yeah, we got the Mexican limos, and then we got the VIP limos. So that's the way we
Right. Do you want to mention the VIP package while we're at it?
So yeah, the VIP package. If you want to go that way, you get everything, and that's also, like I say, we're going to be at. A lot of people are bringing their families, so we're going to be at another 5-star resort too. And a lot of speakers will be there.
It'll be the speakers and the VIPs.
Yeah, and so, like I say, both places that we have are 5-star. The conference is at the Lucerno, and then we have we're at the El Cielo too. So, but let's see, do I cover everything? I think I got it all covered.
I think so. Good
And
job.
Yeah, so like say if you think you're going to come, David says he's doing something. He didn't want to be on any affiliate codes, and I can respect that. So, Marcus, you get a bonus today if you like David Puell and like what he does. One of
Sign
our
up under
members,
Marcus.
all of our members get a affiliate code, and they're part of what we do, and so you know that's one of the benefits. And if you want a membership, this is a good time. What we're offering some. Oh, we're also the VIP package.
Comes with a membership.
Yes, if you're not a member, you become a member with the VIP package free. That is right now about a $4,000 value because I've never changed my price.
Somewhere between 4 and 5.
I started this when Bitcoin was $350. It was $350, and now it's $4,000.
Right.
I'm coming down off my price because I don't need any more members. We want this group small. We find every time we get a new member, we got an educational process we got to go through to bring them up to where we're thinking. So if you can't afford it, you're really not qualified. But all of my material's free. All my stuff I put on Medium, so you can dig everything out. So I'm done talking. This show belongs to David Puell. I'm going to say a little bit about the little I know, and I know quite a bit because I read his stuff. David's probably one of the best, one of the top 2 or 3 fundamentalists.
Fundamental analyst.
Fundamental analysts in the
I
business.
think fundamentalist is different.
Yeah, and he works a lot. I know he works with Willie Woo and some others, and guys, that's my weakness. I mean, I don't understand. I never have. I'm strong on economics. I understand trading. My emphasis is money management. But if you want strong fundamentals, and you know how I emphasize, I said number 1 in trading is money management. You know, you got to master that. Once you get that, the second most important thing is your fundamentals, and this is what David does, and I respect. He wanted to pick my brain, but I don't have much to pick, so we're here to pick your brain. And then the last thing is TA, and I don't say TA is worthless, but I say for most people they should throw away their charts and learn how to manage money first. Then you can start applying TA. TA can be useful, but about 90% of traders get it backwards, and they think TA is the most important, and it's the least important. The most important thing, it's okay to get wrecked, but you don't want to get ruined. So it's yours, David. What's going on? This is a great time for you to be on the show. Is this market going to keep going down, or is this the spike that we need for this year?
What's the magic beans?
Yeah, what's up, Ugly? Thanks for having me. Well, still, holding for more confirmation and all that stuff. But so far, as of now, it looks like we've had a good capitulation and liquidation event. So both, weak hands in the spot markets and greedy hands in the derivative markets seem to have gotten sufficiently wrecked with this downfall in the last week or so. Well, it was very, I think at 40K, you even mentioned this in one of the private chats, that you thought, going up so fast from 10K to 60K or so was very indicative of distribution, right? Now that we've broken the 40,000 price line, I think it confirmed that the whole range between 40 and 60 was distribution. So, but capitulation came super quickly, so fast, from most, if not all, fundamental metrics, including on-chain stuff and also derivative stuff like liquidity stuff, funding rates, futures bases, and a few other things like that. It seems to be as an event as punishing as the March 2020 crash in the COVID times, the COVID start. We seem to have had the same, the same event in terms of, money liquidated, spot sold, on-chain metrics being reset, TA metrics being reset. and all that stuff. So far so good. We still, I expect still like a lot of intraday or intraweekly chop to perhaps liquidate a few more people and all that stuff. We still have even more like a lot of the stuff was news driven in terms of a lot of institutionals and just overall big whales were taking profits at between 40 and 60K, and add to that a huge array of news driven events I think took the market down, starting from the Elon tweets, going into the BlockFi botched giveaway fought, and the China ban, another China ban. One of it's been like five now or so. It seems to be like the market just took a hit again today because the how do you call it, the entity that gave away the mandate in China seems to be legit. So it has some concerns in terms of mining and trading in China. So we should keep an eye on the flows and the trading that will be going on in Huobi and OKX. You can pretty much detect what's going on in the market in those, principally in those two exchanges because it's all concentrated in those. Um, and you also saw a huge drawdown in hash rate as well. This was even before as the price was falling
What
down
does
a
that
couple of
mean?
days.
I mean, I really don't understand the back end of Bitcoin very well. So when you say it drew down the hash rate, can you explain to a lot of our listeners exactly what that means?
Well, as long as the mandate came from the whatever CCP entity, um, it created a lot of FUD, not just in the trading markets, but also in the mining industry in China, especially. So mining pretty much collapsed. Hash rate pretty much collapsed in the last week or so with price. So as soon as price started falling down, hash rate followed. It usually happens that way. Hash rate follows price, um, and that creates what a lot of people in the industry call mining capitulation events, where a bunch of miners get crushed and squeezed out, close their machines, and usually when price finds a bottom, that sets up a bottoming hash rate as well, and then you have business as usual. Hash rate starts building up again, and price as well. So that's more or less what we're having right now. So the more FUD you have it, or the more panic you have in the mining industry, especially if you have a full-blown ban that seems to be legit in China to some extent, but there's different pegs. Like the important part is the entity that let out the mandate. That's the most worrisome part this time.
And what does
So
that
I'm
mean?
guessing.
Mandate. What does the mandate mean?
Sorry.
What are they What are you saying? There's the mandate. What is this mandate?
Hello.
Yeah.
I think you cut off a second.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay. The man. Can you explain what is the Chinese mandate that what are they mandating? It's. Oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, I think his signal might have dropped. Let's wait to see if he comes back.
I'm still connected to you guys.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we're still good here. I think we just lost him. We'll wait for him to come back in. Guys, when I talk to these fundamentalists, I got to always ask them because they're so. It's like a strange language to me a lot of times. Like lightning, I want to grab hold of lightning, but I don't get it, so I have a real hard time. My learning curve is huge. Or I'll say,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah,
You're back.
there he is. All right.
Oh yeah, got cut off for a second, I think.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me or not, but I'm really ignorant on the back end of Bitcoin, and so when you talk about You talked about a Chinese mandate. I guess the Chinese government actually came out with some kind of a mandate that they're just.
Yeah, so the mandate came from the State Department, and it was just corroborated, I think, today by the VP, the the VP of, I think, the CCP itself. I'm not sure. Um, it corroborated, a huge crackdown. That's the wording. A crackdown on Bitcoin mining and trading, both things. So it's going to be interesting what's going to develop in terms of OKX and Huobi. I mean, pretty much they already kind of got OKX a little bit. A few months ago, you can withdraw from OKX. Well, the CCP was investigating the top brass there. So let's see what develops in terms of mainly OKX, Huobi, and the main mining pools located in China. That would be interesting, and seeing that how it affects the market. That now, the most relevant thing right now is that the crackdown comes pretty much from the top. State Department VP. So the source is more, let's say, worrisome than usual, but it's China, and China has banned or mandated crackdowns for Bitcoin several times now. I don't know. I think it's up to 5 or 6 times in the history of Bitcoin, starting in, I believe, 2013. So it's not new, but given the weight of the people mandating this, let's see how it develops. So yeah, of course, after this kind of news, the market is going to crash a little bit again. But so far, it seems to be, we seem to have had full capitulation in the spot market, liquidation in derivatives market. So far so good, but we're still, a good case for this being the bottom, but we still need to be wary and responsible with money management and all that stuff, as you always emphasize.
Yeah, I think this is really a good a lesson too for those that are in Bitcoin. That we always need to bear in mind that what we're seeing in China, we'll probably see to a growing degree in every country, and I think especially in the United States. One of the things I emphasize to people that if you got all your wealth tied up in your house and your retirement account, you're extremely vulnerable because all these legacy exchanges can be shut down in a heartbeat, and they can confiscate all or part of your retirement accounts like it's nothing there. So the emphasis of having your Bitcoin stored, and that's the strength. This is what I really like Michael Saylor's defining of saying, Bitcoin is your treasury. That's what when I say hodl, save, build that's what that is. And I was accused of hiding behind my, I don't know if you know it, but I missed the whole move from 20,000 to 60,000. and that I've traded for 5 months and I've broken even, and I consider that a victory because it's not that important, And I mean, in the last year, literally took 7,000, turned it into 1.7 million. So that's the way trading goes. But you've got to not take those big downswings, and that's what I see. What I love about Michael Saylor is he's made it simple by making Bitcoin your treasury. And we actually, and I might be wrong in this, but I wrote an article that I kind of see hodlers as being the new user-activated soft fork, because we have the power to choose our jurisdictions. I'm doing business mainly in Mexico and the United States, but I'm not locked into either one, and I just keep, I limit that, and we can choose where we do business. That's our strength, and that's where we're going to change the world. And I'm so excited about what's going on now, and I think this whole idea of using Bitcoin as a collateral for new projects. Now, in my case, I bought gold. I'm saying, look, and it's worked out great. That's the reason I broke even this year. Everything I've lost trading Bitcoin, I made back on buying gold using Bitcoin as collateral. There's going to be more and more things like this that come up. This is where the future is. You know, if we're gonna be our own banks, we have to start acting like bankers. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, and we have to make, and a lot of people that don't want to be banks, but we also look, you know, the guy that's running our adventure tour, he's not interested in banking. He just wants to put together a good tour, and everybody does their own thing, and that's where, you know, that's where service. We have to make this easier for people, for people like me, and you know, because I don't get the back end of Bitcoin. I just don't have that background. I certainly understand the value of Bitcoin, and you know, that's, you know, it's been well, we're having this conference because that's what hodling does. I mean, like 2 years ago, I started the website with 10 Bitcoin, you know, which was $35,000. We built the web. Now we're having this conference. And I don't know where we're going to go from. Maybe I'll fall flat on my face, but you know what? We're able to do it, and this is how we're changing and impacting the world. And like I say, some of these guys that are doing the analysis, it's the best fundamentals analysis I've seen, like from David and Willie Woo and Plan B. You know, Murad, he did that chart. You know, there's all these guys that have just done fantastic work on explaining to me, you know, I don't need to learn that back end of Bitcoin. I'm not, that's not my strength. I have to just we do our own thing, what we're best at. It doesn't matter what it is. You just go there. So, at any rate, so David's going to be at our conference, and what are you up to now? Do you have anything else you want to share of things that you're working on, or what you're going to be doing?
Working on, well, I just recently published the first 2 entries of a 3-part series in collaboration with ARK Invest and Yasin El Mandia, which is the main crypto analyst from ARK Invest. You know, Kathy Wood, one of the best, you know, active managers in the world right now. So that was pretty cool. And we actually, the piece was on-chain analytics and how it, you know, pretty much lets you do what you just mentioned, which is fundamental analysis on Bitcoin, and actually have a sense of over and undervaluation for the asset over the long term. So it's just about pretty much onboarding and introducing on-chain analytics in general to both smart retail and institutions that may not be familiar with it. You know, like the idea was to make a sort of on-chain manifesto for the uninitiated, from the very basics, how to determine network health, and then going into buying and sell behavior, and then coming up to, you know, fully developed valuation metrics, which that part is coming up. Part 3 is coming up, hopefully within the month or so. I'm still not sure, but you know, you should check that out, especially if you have no idea about on-chain analytics and all that stuff. We go from the very basics to the more complex stuff, especially in part 3. So check that out. And I have a few other things coming up, but you know, don't want to talk about it. Like they'll be published when they're published.
Do you want to share anything you want to share on screen? And we'll put those
On
links
screen?
on too on this program. We'll put all your links on there. But
Yeah, I'll
can
send
you
it
give-
over after the show.
Yeah.
Okay, let me settle here a little bit the charts. Give me 1 second. And share the screen. Give me one. Where's the, okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep. 2 seconds. Set this up for the people. There we are.
Yeah, you guys amaze me on some of these analysis that you do now. In my day, David, I used to chart all this stuff by hand, if you can imagine that. In fact, I had the
Yeah.
latest technology because I had commodity price charts, and they'd be mailed on Friday, and every Monday I'd get it in the mail, so I didn't have to update dailies. But I remember some of these guys that have these elaborate charts, and they'd work all night on them. And now you just hook up into TradingView uh, and it's all done for you. It's just amazing how simple. But you still have the same amount of people not able to trade. But we have all the
Yeah,
tools.
yeah,
That
I
ratio
guess.
doesn't seem to change no matter what tools we have.
Yeah, it seems to be the same distribution. It's just new tools, but same market psychology, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's go through some on-chain metrics, just to give you some context on what happened since the crash. So this is SOPR, and it's a good way to see profit taking in the market. So let me show you the full chart here. You guys can see, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is SOPR. What it does is a ratio tracking spent outputs in Bitcoin's UTXOs, so that it measures when the output was created and when it was actually spent. So it gives you a sense of profit taking on chain, right? It's like a simple oscillator, but the detail it has is the following, which is if you're in a bull trend, right, in a bull market, let's say this from 15 to late 2017, the oscillator goes above the number one here, which is like the zero line or the midline of the ratio. And usually, whenever the market, the uptrend continues, and usually whenever the market bottoms, the market crashes, it finds bottom whenever the oscillator goes to one or a little below one, right? So we have, if we go to 2017, we have all the dips in the bull market here, 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 and all those times it found a bottom um, when SOPR bottomed. So what it does is pretty much gives you generally a good buy signal to buy the dip if you're still in a primary bull trend. It gets messy, like especially everything got messed up in the
That was a mess. Yeah, I agree with that one.
yeah,
Oh,
it got super messy in the well, this was the bear market, and as you can see, when you have a bear market, whenever it goes to one or a little above one, that's the top. So it gives you bottoms in the bull market and tops in the bear market, right? So as soon as we crossing over over a longer period of time, pretty much confirms that you're in a bull or a bearish trend. So we just crossed it uh, below one. We're still below the one, so we have to check that it regains the one level and then starts trading above it. Right now, it means that most traders, especially short-term traders, are trading underwater because the indicator is trading below one.
mhm.
So mainly on speculators, not
Right.
long-term investors, are underwater as of this moment, which is usually suggestive of bottoms, right?
Yeah, basically, most of the people that bought this year are underwater now. That-
Yeah, yeah,
Which, that's why I could never get on this bandwagon from 20 to 60. Somewhere this was coming along. For the first time, this fulfills everything I'm looking for. I'm bullish. So in fact, I was surprised we even got the dip today. I'd be surprised if we can go below 33. I think we probably hit it here, but yeah, this is all we really needed. We just need. I mean, the people need to understand that the markets are not made for speculators; they're made for hedgers, and you have to learn to arbitrage and learn hedging. That's why BitMEX is so revolutionary, and there's more things coming out. Like in my view, the more and more assets that are going to be tradable using Bitcoin as collateral, that's going to be the future in the next year or two. I kind of want to get your opinion on that because that's really fundamental. I'm not a fundamentalist, but except economically, and that's where I see the next real big development coming. I don't, Bitcoin's not going to be used as cash. it remains a lousy store of value, as anybody that bought it in the last couple of months have found out. So it sucks as cash. It's a lousy store of value. It's a great speculation, but you have to buy it and you have to hodl it. And and if you do that, you're going to be just fine. But what's the next development? Well, my view is those that have hodls will have new opportunities, but it's going to be different. It's not just going to be buying Bitcoin anymore. It's going to be, Michael Saylor says, I'm not selling at one sat. Well, yeah, but he didn't say he's not using it. And he told you how to do it. He said, yeah, some of these old New York families, say, well, yeah, I inherited this wealth. My great-great-great-grandfather owns 3 blocks next to Central Park. And, they've just borrowed against it time and time again. With the cheap money and held the real estate, which was basically the good money. And I think that's going to be the phenomena that happens. And I think that's going to be, that's these financial institutions, if they can get on the bandwagon and you can buy different assets using Bitcoin as collateral, that's where it's going to be happening in the future. I might be wrong, but that's kind of my view. Do you think do you see that as a fundamental change in the market that's happened just this year because of Michael Saylor and his, huge corporate position?
Yeah, I think it's one of the main new trends from both a narrative and industry-wide level, like in the sense that 2 things are emerging for Bitcoin. One of them is on-ramping, which is a trend that has been going on since pretty much the beginning, but it has increased so much more, especially for institutional market actors, right? And the second one, which is I think more recent, especially to this extent, that would be collateralization in general, right? You have much more lending companies doing, different sets of arbitrage and hedging strategies or lending strategies for potentially millions of users.
Oh, which I need to
And
pick your brain a little bit. If you have any good services for that, because I was looking at, what is it, the BlockFi, and then I'm so glad they blew up because I almost invited them to the conference as a sponsor. But I got to be really careful on that because I want them to me, this is where the future is. And I do want to showcase some of the new financial services that are out there where people can either on-ramp or they can, like in my case, I'm using, an exchange called Evolve, which, I don't recommend. The exchange risk is real, man. I've lost complete accounts, so you got to be careful. Never put anything on an exchange that you can't completely lose. And
yeah, what happened with BlockFi actually was quite, to some extent, funny. So the news broke, I think, a couple of days ago. It's pretty much the same night we collapsed. So the news is as follows. BlockFi started giving a special promotional giveaway to the clients. And I think, so that they were gonna, give away some USD-based denomination as a reward for some of their clients, but someone in there messed something up so that the denomination was actually in BTC instead of USD. So you have screenshots of people getting out of the blue. There's one particular case where this person got, I think, 700 Bitcoin just out of the blue in his account, which is incredibly surreal to see. So the assumption at
better
first
than
is
winning the lottery.
yeah, like it was like, what the hell is going on? So the assumption is that when I saw the news, I actually got scared because I thought, okay, if you have people receiving up to 700 Bitcoin and the report in CoinDesk said that it was like 100 users. So you potentially have 70K Bitcoin of new supply in the market, right? That can crash the market. Like that may be actually the reason we're collapsing right now. But apparently, Zach Prince, the founder, is I think CEO of BlockFi, came out. I actually asked him on Twitter, and he came out saying that most of the funds have been repaid or were never withdrawn. Some people got them out, but I think most of them didn't. And I think at most the loss was a couple of hundred Bitcoin total, not per user, total. That's so far the stance of BlockFi, and I think nothing new came out of it. So a few people got it out of Cold Wallet or something like that, but they have KYC accounts in BlockFi, so the potential
I have a good
you would
story to
get
tell.
yeah, you would get arrested if you start like selling those bitcoins.
Yeah.
Keep them
Well,
down.
yeah. I mean, I've got a good story to tell that happened to me. This was back in the '80s when I was in the gold business. Very similar, guys. So you need to. These are old problems, and hopefully BlockFi. I'm sure they're doing. This is a great thing to happen. I'm glad they took a small loss. They're going to make some serious corrections, which is good for the market. But I had the same thing happen back in, I don't know, it was early 1980s. I got this wire in for gold for, that was a $500,000 or something like 350. It was it was a good six figure, which was a lot of money back. This was back in 1980, so it's probably 10, about a couple million today. But, and the guy, ordered the gold, and we packed up. We're all ready to go. But it came from Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery, and I said, that. But I didn't talk to anybody from Pabst, so I called the bank. I said, you know what? Can you check that wire? And that was on the old what's the system that they use now, but same system that's still in existence. And oh no, that's a fake wire. Don't send them. And we'd already, I bought the gold. The gold had dropped, and we were all ready to ship. And I said, well, I'm not sending it back, because I'm going to lose money for this. I've already done the deal. We had it all packed up. The FBI came in, and they were on the other end. We were going to mail the package, but nobody showed up for the package. But finally, the way I straightened it out, it took about 6 or 8 weeks. And at the time, I think they were paying like overnight interest of 10%. So I was making money hold on to the funds. That was no problem. But we'd bought but not really, because I already bought the gold. But we sold. I had to sell the gold. I actually had to lose about, I don't know, $25 or $30 or more on the transaction. So basically, basically it cost them about 15%. They got about about 85% back of what they wired me, because it was a big hassle for us. And we were just lucky we caught it, because I don't know what would have happened. I mean, I really don't. What if we'd sent that gold? I said, well, it's not our bad. We got this wire. The bank said it was good. If I had not called my bank, nobody would have caught it. It was that blatant. And so that's how, this on-chaining is not easy, guys. It's not. Running a Bitcoin business it's and then all the technology involved. We didn't have all that technology back then. It was pretty just hammer and nail kind of technology. It wasn't what we have today. But that's what happens. It happens today. It's happened yesterday. This is nothing new, and I'm glad it happened. And I think, to me, it's I think BlockFi will probably come out of this way ahead, because they were lucky it happened now and they took a small loss. That's the way I view it.
Yeah, and that it wasn't like the loss was somewhat capped. Not many people withdrew, because like the other scenario is, let's say up to 100 or even more users getting those sorts of quantities, have 500 700 Bitcoin, and all of them seeing those balances out of the blue in their accounts, and just selling, taking it off into another exchange, maybe on KYC exchange, and selling with market orders in the open market, crashing the price and all that stuff. Like, that scenario would be so bad for BlockFi. It would get a lot of people, your users, potentially arrested, because everything is KYC. So despite the fact that even if you're dealing with KYC institutions, yes, there may be more accountability because there's no pseudonymity or anonymity, but still, you never know who's gonna fuck up, who's gonna, do something, and if the incentives align for that to happen, any institution can go under any second if they're, mess up hard enough. So you should always be careful where you put your funds, where you trade, where you lend, everything.
Look,
Um,
we learn a lot more from our failures and our mistakes than we do from our success.
yeah, for
Boy,
sure.
I tell you what, when we're successful, it goes to your head. It's because, you just want to take credit. I'm successful because I'm so smart. Well, you know, after you've been over, I guess as you get older and you've been hit over the head long enough, you just kind of like, you know what, there is, that's why I emphasize money management. It really, and the risk, that and the unknown risk. I mean, they weren't aware of that risk. Who would have thunk
Yeah,
they do something that stupid? You know?
yeah, that's for
Uh,
sure.
Ugly, could I just offer a suggestion?
Yeah,
I'm Hi, David. I'm just a pleb, so uh,
this
I
is
don't really
Marcus.
know much as any of you guys. But if you want to investigate one of these lending platforms as a sponsor, maybe you want to look into Ledin, which is based out of Canada, but they were actually started by some Venezuelans. So they're very strong, or they're very big in the Spanish market. They only deal with Bitcoin and USDC, so they don't have uh, other alts available. And as well as that, they don't use a token. So they've done it all legitimately.
I really
So that
appreciate that because you know what, I'm sitting here. I'm kind of terrified. What if I invite somebody that just I can be fooled. So Marcus,
I actually,
I
I
need help
actually,
like that.
I
Yeah.
actually know Mauricio. Mauricio Di Bartolomeo. I think he's the CTO, and I know their CEO, Adam Reed. I met them, I think, a couple of years ago for the first time. Known them for a while. Mauricio's a good friend. Um, um, yeah, no, this is not like an endorsement on Letter, but I actually know them and consider
Right. Well,
them
we're not going to
friends.
endorse anyone, but I don't mind showcasing people that are making the effort because I respect them for that. And as long as I know it, and not everybody's going to make it. You can look. I've screwed up big time in my life, more than once. So I don't mistakes. I, I can live with, but it's like I tell all people that I contract with, because I don't really have anybody working for me. It's all good unless you lie or you steal from me, and that blows the whole thing. Mistakes we learn from, and we're running around in circles over a stupid mistake yesterday. So that's
Yeah, it
what goes
happens.
on in life. But guys, too, if you're listening to this for the first time and you want to get the conference, you can hit. We'll put Marcus's code on there, so you can actually get the 15% discount through him. Looks like we have another member. Incidentally, the reason you're seeing more than just me and uh, David is because if you're a member, we actually send you the Zoom link so you can participate. We're building studios down here. You've seen this studio that we built. We're building another one just for Spanish program, and we're going to be building yet another one after that. So I don't know how to reach that audience, and the guys that are contracted, they're trying to figure it out. David, I think you're the key to this thing. If we've got the facilities here, it's kind of like
I
it's kind
I
of
know
like
if you
we
if you
built it. Now you guys need to come. It's there for
I
you guys to
know
use.
I know a great deal of very smart um, people from the Spanish speaking world, so I think I can manage, for other shows, perhaps creating a panel or something, help you out with that.
Well, we'd love to. I mean, because I think for different levels, like my guys, Eddie's tried it, but he's very much a beginner. And then you have other people that, at a different level. And guys, this is my give back to Bitcoin, and I'm love doing it. I just can't believe I'm alive during these times with the life I've lived, and I'm overwhelmed. It's bigger than me, guys. I need help. I need help. And Marcus, I really appreciate it, guys. I just, because we're still going to screw up, but working together, I think we can minimize it to some degree. So, and we got somebody else. Philip, are you there? You want to say hello to us? No.
Hi, yeah, no, it's nice to say hello. I'm in South Africa, and Marcus mentioned being a pleb. I think I'm far more of a pleb than Marcus. I just picked you up ugly watching Tone Vays. I got to know you and enjoyed listening to you and listening to Tyler back in the day. And it's just such a pleasure to be part of this. I'm not going to take up any time. I can't add any value. I just enjoy listening to you guys speak.
Well, thank you for coming on. We're going to use your referral code so people, it'll be on this program too. So hopefully anybody if David doesn't want any referrals because he's working on other projects, but we have 2 members here. If you want the 15% discount, hey guys, these guys are old members. I wouldn't be doing this if they hadn't supported me.
Right.
They are probably lifetime members. I sold a lifetime memberships when Bitcoin was $3,500. My life, not yours. And it was a tenth of a Bitcoin. It was like under $300 because he gave a discount and everything. And now we don't do those lifetime anymore. It's still the same price, and you got to renew every year. But guys, I couldn't do this without you guys supporting it, and that's the whole thing. I try and keep it simple. It's you hodl and you save and you build it. And David is a builder on this thing, and he knows the back end like I don't know. And I don't know what your businesses are, Marcus, or
Philip.
what's your name?
Yeah.
Tim. Okay, but whatever. I'm sure that you're good at what you do. That's the most. Just be good at the special thing that you do, and use Bitcoin as your treasury. It's really not any harder than that. And Bitcoin forgives a lot of mistakes.
Thank you.
So you want me to show a few last charts before we go?
Yeah.
go for
Please
it.
do show us what you got, and then we're almost at an
Okay.
hour, so we'll end it.
Let me just.
So this is a little bit of the chart. What I wanted to see, so I usually track BitMEX premium or discount as a proxy for funding rates. I know you track a lot of futures basis, contango, macrodation, all that stuff. Which I think is essential, but also funding rates in general, which is a thing. Just like on-chain, it's another aspect, fundamental aspect of Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's
in Bitcoin that you don't see in other assets. So that's very beneficial for analysts. What I want to see in general to pretty much confirm the bottom. We bounce off this support right now, but we also broke a bunch of support here, which is now resistance. And broke, even the downtrend of the descending channel we had here, we broke it. So right now, of course, we're oversold, all that stuff, but I do want to see a little bit more of, so this is the premium, right? So if it's white, it's a discount, meaning that spot is more expensive than derivative perpetual contracts on BitMEX this time, but for the most part, it correlates with all exchanges and Binance, FTX, whatever. So for the most part, I want to see more white, let's say, which especially on a daily basis, which we haven't had. It went white super hard on the collapse, but it didn't close that way. We're seeing a little bit more white here, from a 1 hour to 4 hour perspective. All this stuff denotes that it's been more accumulated than distribution. It's been more bought than sold. But sometimes you have stuff like this where you have some buying here, but ends up going positive, new distribution, and then price collapses from there. So I want to see, especially on the long time frames, let's say 12-hour, daily time frames, a little bit more white like this period right here, this period right here, here, to confirm the bottom.
Did you
Um,
build that indicator? I've never seen that before. Did you build that, or is that something that you can get on TradingView? That
I coded it, but if you want it on TradingView, the simplest way to get it is look for BitMEX funding rate by the author is Neobutane. Neo like the Matrix movie, and butane.
Right.
Look for that, and it gives you the funding calculation. I don't know the exact formula they use. I personally use this one. I coded it up. But if you want a simple ready-made indicator, look for that on TradingView, and that gives you funding rates in general.
I really
Um,
like that one. That's really easy to see. Yeah, I look at it, but I don't. I just have been around long enough. I don't need to look at charts anymore. I just kind of.
Yeah.
You feel,
I know how good you are, Ugly. I know for a fact. So. I believe you. So, well, things to be careful about, right? So, of course, we have that. I want to. Usually, what I've seen is that the longer the discount, the longer we are at discount, the better the signal as a bullish mechanism. So I want to see like a lot of white here develop over the next week or two or something. Like the longer we stay at a bottom, let's even consolidating, even if this is not a V bottom shape, right?
Yeah.
I want to see like a long period of white, denoting that most people are buying and accumulating here. Because usually what you have after capitulation is, just seller exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
And then after things start, chopping around at the bottom, you start seeing more accumulation, and people seeing, okay, there's strength here. I'm gonna go in more and more and more. So that's usually what happens. Right now it's kind of neutral. I wanted to see like big spikes like this. So I'm just like holding off for now. I'm just like chilling for the most part. And also, you have to bear in mind that even if we go up from here, either now or after a few weeks or months, we have a big cluster of resistances. And from an on-chain perspective, let's go back to this one indicator. Where is it? Forgot the name. I think that's a bit further. That's a UTXO. Give me a second. What was the name? Realized. So this is like a sort of volume profile that tells you how much UTXOs were traded at any given level of price, right? So, where's that thing? God damn. What was the name? The thing about Glassnode, they have so many indicators that sometimes it's so hard to keep track.
Is that it? Do you have to subscribe to Glassnode? I don't.
Is it UPRD that you're looking for?
I think so. Yeah,
RD.
No.
It's titled UTXO Realized Price Distribution.
Exactly that one. UTXO. Let's see.
Realized Price Distribution.
These guys know more than I do. They know what.
It's not here. What happened? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Distribution. No. What happened with that? You're seeing it on Glassnode?
Well, I'm looking at an image of it. Yes.
UTXO. What the hell is it?
Yeah. That's the title of the chart.
Yeah. Realized price distribution. Price. It's not. God damn it. Distribution. I'm gonna unshare the screen right quick to look for it. Give me 1 second. Yes, I'm gonna open a dashboard, but I don't want to share that. Give me 1 second. So yeah, anyway, what we're gonna look at here, I actually can show this part of the dashboard. Give me 1 second to give like a full market breakdown. Okay, I'm gonna reshare. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is good because we have a bunch of metrics here that will give us a sense. So this is aggregate funding rates on the perpetual. As you can see, it spiked to negative, similar to the March collapse way back, right? We have a great amount of distributions amounting to basically 1 billion USD across the board. No short liquidations yet. With I'm guessing a lot of shorts are going to get trapped now. It's their turn, so let's see what happens. Balance on exchanges, it's rising, which is long-term bearish, but very long-term. It actually broke a downtrend after the March collapse. We had a trend of balance, BTC getting off exchanges.
Why do you think that would be bearish? Is that because it indicates that there's more hedgers coming into the market, legitimate hedging?
But so after a year of BTC getting pulled off exchanges, implying people are accumulating and pulling it out to cold storage, right? Or custodians. Right now, it seems that we're having an increase on BTC on exchanges, probably for arbitrage and market making, but also for distribution and selling. That has been increasing before the crash, right? So miners to exchanges, we have a little bit of increase. Miner wallets are pretty much flat. This is dormancy. Dormancy is the ratio between coin days destroyed and transaction volume, meaning on average, how many days did the people moving the coins today had them in cold storage, let's say, or unmoved in any given UTXO. So right now we don't see a spike, which is good, meaning that we didn't have capitulation and we're not seeing a lot of old coins moving in the market right now. So that's good. This is SOPR, the metric that I just showed you. As you can see, it went down again. Now, the level, the one level, which is the level it resets to usually, it is now resistance. So we have to see when the price goes to 1 or a little bit above 1, if the market crashes from there, that's not a good sign. It may indicate that, we may be in a dangerous situation of, perhaps a momentary mini bear market of, a little bit of, we're still in a downtrend, as you say. If it regains the number 1 level, that's a very good confirmation to, to say that we've bottomed and we regained the premium bull market. In the fall here, this is Coinbase destroyed, CDD, Coinbase destroyed. We saw that a lot of people, like a bunch of old coins, sold to some extent. So you didn't see a lot of dormancy, but in terms, because there was a lot of transaction volume, so the number of days per coin unmoved was not that high, but we did see like a spike in Coinbase destroyed in this collapse. Short-term holder NBRB, which is similar to SOPR, it actually went quite below the number 1 level, which is similar to SOPR. This is market value to realized value, but for short-term holders, for holders that have coins that haven't moved, that have moved in the last 155 days. So pretty much all short-term holders are underwater right now. Historically, it's the same as SOPR. We have to regain the number 1 level successfully and start trading above it to have a full confirmation that the bull market is regained. Otherwise, we might test this from the downside and keep crashing a little bit more. Let me give you an example. Back in mid-2019 with the whole plus token fiasco, when we went to 14K in 6 months, from 3K to 14K in 6 months, and then we crossed the same number 1 line, got everyone underwater, and then when we went back to 1, with the China pump. I think that was in September 2018. That became resistance. So all the people who are underwater are now sellers, and that crashed the market again, and we went down again, right? So we should be very wary when SOPR and MVRV short-term holder go back to one, because that means that most people who used to be underwater are now at break even, and that may incentivize a lot of people for selling. So I think keeping an eye on futures basis funding rates at those levels, when we get that, it would be very important to determine if perhaps we'll find some resistance here, and the downtrend still not over. Until I see that, I can like pretty much for sure, sir, say that I'm still worried that we've bottomed, especially since we've closed for several days below the 200-day moving average and all the metrics. So I'm still worried, but we should keep an eye for when future contango increases again, future funding rates goes to positive for a consistent amount of time again, and SOPR and MVRV short term go to one again, just to check that we're not at resistance, and we should be not, at least not be overconfident. This is another trend that started out since we started pumping from 10K, which hasn't lowered down, which is the percent of supply that was active in the last year, meaning that coins that have 1 year of age or antiquity without being moved are being moved at an increasing rate, right? You saw a lot of accumulation in all this uptrend from the collapse to 6K after the Plus token distribution ended in 2019. And then it started to rise. But a lot of big whales that bought here and here, started taking profits when price was pumping from 10K to 20K. So as long as we saw that pump, profit taking was just like, from coins older, from a year and older, we're being taking profits in all the market. So that's important to keep track of, like the trend. This is usual in bull markets. The people who accumulated in the bear market and have an OGs from 2013 and all that stuff, all those people start selling their coins and just taking profits. Maybe not their whole positions, but they start taking profits in the bull market. That's very usual. So for timing, it's not that good, but it gives you a sense of just be careful.
So what's that Puell multiple? I saw that one there. You got it. You can't slide by that one.
Yeah, so Puell multiple is daily issuance or daily miner revenue divided by the 365-day moving average of miner revenue. And it's just an oscillator that usually gives you very good buy signals, as you can see here. Like pretty much whenever we go into the green zone, it gives you the literal bottom. Obviously, after the halving day, it tends to collapse, like we saw here by the halving day time. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
My computer is stuck for some reason, so I'm gonna share it. But right now, it went to almost to oversold, not quite. And it's crashing. Like a lot of the metrics, MVRV and a bunch of metrics like that are looking this way. Like let me show you an example of that. Maybe we can see it here. No, I don't think so. Okay, this is a good one. This is realized price. This is not entity adjusted, but it gives you a sense. So realized price, this one is important because there's still a possibility of going into 20K, and this is the case for it. So we have realized price, which is I don't know if you're familiar with the metric, Ugly, or you want me to explain it?
Yeah, explain it. You're fascinating me, man. I'm learning a lot, so I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, so realized price is derived from realized cap. And realized cap is basically another metric to get market cap. But instead of valuing each coin at today's price, like in market cap, you know, market cap, you're multiplying supply times price, right? Um, Instead of doing that, you're time stamping the price for each coin in the market at the time where it was last moved. So it gives you a cost basis of the whole market, basically. It tells you on aggregate, on average, what's the cost basis of the Bitcoin market. So right now, the cost basis is at 20, it's basically 20K. So that usually is a good support. Historically, whenever we're in a bear market, we go below it after capitulation, you know, like 3K in 2018, late 2018, and we stay perhaps a month or two or maybe longer beneath it, meaning that most people in the Bitcoin market are at a loss. And then we go up, and that's the bull market. That was the bottom, basically.
Yeah.
So realized price, but realized price intermittently also serves as a support. Let me just track. So right now is at 20K. So the average cost basis of the whole market, which is support here, right now it's at 20K. So there's still a possibility that we go there and we continue the downtrend to 20K, especially if the factors I just mentioned play out. You know, going into resistance, having positive funding rates, a lot of contango, SOPR at 1, short time frame, NPRV at 1, all that stuff, that confluence, and perhaps some oversold in, you know, momentum TA metrics. Then we may have, you know, another downfall to 20K, and that's very good support, you know, from a TA perspective, from realized price perspective. But just take that into account and be wary for the confirmations. And then, well, this is a metric created by True the Mister and Michel Lesquaye from Adamant way back. And this usually gives you a sense of if there's a lot of exuberance in the market. Right now, we're going back into the stage of, let's say, anxiety, they call it. Green is usually a lot of exuberance. We don't have capitulation in terms of very long time for perspective still, but at least we're not at the bottom. Which is a good sign. And now we have hash ribbons. Hash ribbons are usually a metric. It has provided very good signals. It uses two moving averages. I think it's the 30-day and the 60-day moving averages of hash rate. So whenever we have a hash rate collapse, it denotes that miners are capitulating. And whenever we have a new buy signal, when those two moving averages cross over to the upside again, it sets up very good, you know, buys. It doesn't give you the bottom, but it gives you the uptrend, let's say. So it's more like a lagging indicator, but it's a very good confirmation of the uptrend in general. So as you can see here it was pretty much the bottom. Here it was after the bottom. Here it was a very good buy. Here, and now, I mean, we're just waiting for a new buy signal for it. But you know, we're already in minor capitulation. Have been for a while since the whole China flood started.
Sorry, could that one be affected by the Chinese miners being turned off for a week?
Yeah.
So
it goes down.
This time it might be a false signal potentially, or
no, because I don't think so, because you always have minor capitulation from anywhere, whether a China ban, natural disaster in China, like a lot of China's related stuff, and other things. So this usually just applies to markets, miners, I'm sorry, but you do want it to see go back up. You do want to see, you know, the huge crash in hash rate, the huge crash in hash rate, and then the hash rate picking up again. That's the signal. Not only the crash, but also like, you know. This one is the spent output price distribution, SOPD, which is the one I was looking for. This one is very important. Now that I have the name, SOPD, I'm going to look for it actually. Give me 1 second. I'm going back to charts because I wanted to show you. This is like pretty much support and resistance. SOPD.
Have you built all these things that you're showing? This is incredible.
No, like I've invented a few of them, but this is mostly from a bunch of on-chain analysts coming off of I'm just one of them, but there's a bunch of people in from Coinmetrics. I mean, starting with Willy Woo, which is pretty much the godfather of this field.
I want to
And
emphasize
then-
just for a minute how important this stuff is, guys. It's what again, my number one thing. I know a lot of you members are going to be a lot better traders than I am now or ever have been because there's so much more to learn from. But the money management is so much the key to this thing. And the thing that comes after that is the fundamentals. You have to have a strong fundamental understanding of the market that you're in. And I don't understand the back end, but I do understand the economics involved. And after my own work, I just accepted as given that Bitcoin is sound. It's the only digital money that's money. And since that also was knew Hayek and I understand what the foundation of all this is built on. And David this is not he uses TA, but he's really giving you a strong fundamental background, and that's what I emphasize with this backwardization and contango, because that's not technical at all. It's purely fundamental. What's happening now is that if you're a buyer, if you're hedging, you have no reason to sell futures, and if you're a buyer, you have every reason to buy futures, which is completely opposite of where it's been since the breakout of over 20,000. That's why for the first time that I'm bullish, unequivocally bullish. Now that doesn't mean you can't use basis as a timing indicator. It doesn't work because nothing says we can't go down to 14,000. I mean, you can go into backwardation, go into bigger backwardization. We did that a year ago last March. I'd be very surprised that that's going to happen again. But I think that's the fear that's in people's minds. But
we got some backwardation, right, in the last collapse.
Yeah, I think we got some backwardization here on this. I don't think much, maybe just on the June. I don't think September ever did. So,
Yeah, I saw backwardation in June, but not September.
Yeah, I think June because it's so close. It's pretty thin, but to me the fundamental difference is we structurally, and maybe let me ask you this fundamentally, and again I'm off the cuff. This guy's actually doing the homework, but I said at the very first year when we took off and we went to 40, 50, 60,000 people, why are I on board? I said, because the market has structurally changed. It has changed dynamically. This is not the same market that we had last year. It's not even close. This is just because we went into all-time highs. This is all uncharted territory. This is the new frontier. And, we believe that Bitcoin is sound money, but we're working to figure out what to do with it. My mentor, E.C. Harwood, he called it the lost art of sound commercial banking. We're rediscovering it. And it's guys like David and Willie and all these fundamentalists that are, they understand that, and the problems are going to be, it's such an exciting time. I'm fascinated by all this work you've done. It kind of blows me away, David, all the work you put into this thing.
No, the credit for a lot of these charts go to other very good on-chain analysts, like Willie, like Nick Carter, Antoine Lecalve, Renato Shirakashi, who invented SOPR, the guys at Glassnode, Rafael, Jan and Jan, the guys at CryptoQuant. You have like a whole legion of extremely smart people working on the on-chain analysis field and just creating, every single angle in the market that might be useful to you. So as a last point, which is very important, that's why I wanted to show this chart now that I remembered his name. So what you're looking at here, this is price, and this is the amount of Bitcoin or no, this is the amount of UTXOs. So it serves kind of like a volume profile of sorts. If you know how to use a volume profile, it's used mainly as support and resistance. So right now, the most UTXOs traded in the history of Bitcoin are at 41,000. That means that a lot of people sold at that level. So when we go back up there, that's a huge resistance as of now. So right now we're at 36 or so. We actually went to 41, right? If I'm not mistaken. Right? So it's very important to start at the very least consolidating at that level, which is this spike right here, the gray spike on the histogram. That's 41. So this whole area between 38 and 41, 42, it's very important to reclaim it because as of this moment, it's huge resistance. And then we have another huge resistance at 56, which was the midline of the range, the distribution range back at the highs, right? So those levels must be reclaimed. We should start consolidating at them or against them for a while, especially with, negative funding rates, at least not that high a contango and a few other bullish indicators or signals, so that we regain the primary trend. We just had capitulation, but we do have a lot of resistance now, not just from a TA perspective, but from an on-chain perspective. A lot of Bitcoin and UTXOs were traded back and forth at those levels, which means that those levels are resistance, right? Like if a bunch of people bought their Bitcoin here, right, holding the back now, right when we go back to those levels, their incentives align to sell again, right? So we should be just careful. I would see a full confirmation of the bottom when we regain those levels successfully. And that's just pretty much my last point. Like, there's a huge case for the bottom here or soon enough, but let's just be wary of the resistances. When we hear resistances, for 40K, then 50K, and then 55, we should keep an eye on those and just not get overconfident when we get there, especially if you're trading with leverage and stuff like that.
David, this is one of the best shows I've done, I think, all year. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to meet you. I've never met you personally, so I can't wait for you to come in to Ensenada. And
For
guys,
sure, man.
yeah, we're to rub shoulder with these guys, and we want to kind of switch it. We're gonna from a speaker format to a panelist format, but some of these guys like Giacomo's such a good speaker and so funny, and this guy's so good on technical stuff. I mean, we're gonna have to. We've got a lot to figure out between now and the conference, but we want your input. This is really a great show, and I've learned a lot. So we need to have you on more, and particularly, we're building the studio. We're trying to open, and it's for developing, the Spanish-speaking audience around the world. So I hope you'll be able to share with us how we accomplish the next. We kind of like, what is build it and it shall come. That's what we've done here. We're building the studio. Say, okay, guys. And that's what I do with these guys. I say, here, let's do this. I don't know this stuff. I'm just the guy that is bankrolling it a little bit, but everybody has to work cheap for me, and then we build it from there. That's the way it works. And anyway, I really appreciate this. I appreciate Philip coming on and Marcus. That's what it's about. Guys, if you want a membership, you can get, you buy the VIP package, you get the membership thrown in there.
Yeah.
So that's the specialty now. And I got to hook up with you on this. All this stuff that you showed me today, I wasn't aware all that stuff's going on. I've talked to Willie a couple times, and sometimes you got to just sit down with me, explain these fundamentals, because I said, you're talking in a whole different world. I don't understand, but maybe one word out of 10 of what you're saying. And, but the charts make it a lot easier to understand. So you don't need to know all these fundamentals to be a good trader. Okay, good trading. Believe it or not, they're not related that much. They can be and should be. Fundamentals are extremely important. But at any rate, well, thank you so much for coming on. It was a great show, and I'm looking forward to this conference. And we're working to make this the best thing that ever happened. I hope you're going to be able to come to the Adventure Tour. I hope.
I think so. Yeah. I'll try my best to.
All right.
To do the
Well,
whole thing.
that's one of the things, guys. You sign up for the conference. David might let you ride in his car. That means you got to drive. And have you ever done that before? Have you ever done it before?
No, but sounds like fun. Like,
Oh.
and ask Willie. Like, I've been with Tone, Willie, Leah in the same car, and they know I can take chances with my driving. Like, I like speed. So
Willie's
I try to
not
worry
coming.
about
I
it.
invited Willie, and I know he's got a special surprise. He's kind of retired because I think he's got a baby coming along. Incidentally, I don't know your family relationship, but this is family friendly. So that's going to be a family friendly conference. If you're bringing families, we have a different facility with child. This is hopefully we just want to showcase. I love Mexico. I love the Baja, and I want to showcase a wonderful place where I live. I feel much safer in Mexico right now than I do in the United States, and which is probably the opposite of what most Americans think, but. I love this country. I love the freedom that we have here, particularly in the Baja. So it just seems like we're not affected by the COVID like the rest of the world is.
We definitely don't feel it as much in our day-to-day.
Yeah. So come and enjoy a little freedom with us if you can. And
Sounds good, Ollie.
yeah. And you need to get me. I want to invite some more Spanish speaker panelists. So help me with that one. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we can plan something out. With good time, I think we can manage.
All right. Well, thank you so
Great.
much. It was a great show. I think everybody really enjoyed this one, and we got more shows to do now.
We've got plenty to do.
Yeah, we got more shows. We haven't bought, so we'll see what happens. I guess next one I think we'll do is maybe the Thomas Hunt and Bitcoin Motors.
That should be a good one.
Yeah, maybe Juan. Those are the guys who'd be the MCs and the panelist MCs and moderators. So, wow, this is a great show. Thank you so much, man. We got to do it again soon.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Unless I don't think there was any questions.
I think we froze. Thanks, guys. I think he's frozen again. Thanks, David.
Looks like it.
Hi.
Thanks,
Bye-bye,
David. Thanks, guys.
That was a good one. I really enjoyed that.
All right. Remember, we don't just end the show when Zoom ends.
Oh, okay.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, but you could round it off nicely and say goodbye in a formal way.
Yeah, I'm learning this, guys. I
even got an agenda.
Yeah, I got an agenda now. I got these notes because I got to make sure I cover it because I'm just an off the cuff kind of guy. I'm really rather existential or
Eccentric, I think that's what
eccentric
you're looking
too.
for.
So, there he is.
Oh, here he is.
Back. Okay. So yeah, well, we're just ending up. Man, it was a great show. I learned a lot, and I saw some things I'd never seen before in my life. And that's why I say you guys like you and Willie would just I envy you. How do you know? I mean, I wish I understood all that you guys understood, but I also figured out you don't need to know all that to use Bitcoin.
This is true.
It's kind of simple, and that's where I try. It's HODL, and we save and we build it, and that's sound money. And the thing that we all have in common is we're all fighting for this. We want sound money, and we can do it as individuals. Personally, I kind of think Bitcoin has a potential to bring sound money back to these national jurisdictions. Even I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but it can actually make a resurrection of the gold standard and keep the gold standard honest. I remember Mexico has these beautiful gold coins that I bought a few of those, and they're Mexico and the United States used to be on the gold standard.
Right.
And Mexico produces a lot of gold, silver, and oil, a lot of natural resources in this country. So thank you, everybody, for coming on, and we'll do it
see you
again.
on the next one.
Yep. Thank you,
All right, guys.
David.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
Are we still on?